I have a very small stage with 6 musicians, 3 background vocals, and 1 lead singer. The stage is about 8 feet by 12 feet. I don't want feedback. No surprise there. And how many monitors should I use and where should I place them all? And should I use side fills? Would that be better? You know, one thing that this makes me think of is sometimes in live sound, getting you may be like, oh, there's feedback. So let's move the monitor further from the microphone. But if it's a vocalist, they're by the microphone. And so moving it further from the microphone means moving it further from the vocalist, which would mean that you'd have to turn it up more for the vocalist to hear the same thing. So sometimes there's a tendency to want to move the microphone or the monitor further from the vocalist to get it further from the vocal mic. But in my experience, it's actually best to get the monitor as close and directly pointed to the vocalist as possible, and then use the rejection pattern of the microphone. You know, this rejects sound from directly behind it. So if the monitor's here, it's going to be less effective at rejecting here than it would here, and maybe even like using a different polar pattern, like a supercardioid or something. That could be helpful, and that gets into the side fills thing. So now they're coming in from the sides and they're further away from the musicians. So feedback was already an issue. I'd expect you'd get better results by putting a monitor next to the musician and maybe even having different mixes for each musician so that you don't have to send something somewhere that is not needed. You know, if this musician needs their vocal, but this musician doesn't, there's no sense in sending that vocal to both monitors because that just makes that vocal louder on stage. And you can take that same development, the side fill is further from the listener than the monitor wedge. If you could take that to an extreme and use in-ear monitors, now the in-ear monitors are extremely close and they don't have to be loud at all for the person to get the right level. Plus, they're so quiet because they're so close to the person who it matters for that they don't create any additional stage volume, which could help your issue. What are your thoughts on that question, Gabe?
I got nothing much to add to that. You did that was exactly what I would have said.
Yeah. Yeah, and where exactly? I think I can't tell you where they should be. I would base that on where the musicians are, and then just put them where they can be to point toward the musician, and then put your microphones in some intelligent way, knowing where the sound you want to reject is, and you can do that. You know, so just follow those principles, and you'll be able to figure that out for yourself.